So, what is Reiki, by the way? So, what the heck is Reiki? Well, we can talk about what Reiki is on a couple of different levels. So, the first level that we want to talk about what Reiki is on the universal life force energy level. And then Reiki as the system of sending that universal life force energy. So, when we say Reiki, sometimes we're talking about the system of Reiki, which I'll explain in a minute. And sometimes we're talking about the universal life force energy that is Reiki. So, Reiki as a universal life force energy is always flowing. It's always around us. It is in us. It is part of us. And it is, the stuff that is running through all of us all of the time. I think that we can think of universal life force energy like air or gravity. It's always around us. I also like to think of it as kind of a rushing waterfall, where the water is always flowing, always running, and it's just this big, beautiful, ever-flowing waterfall. And that ever flowing waterfall is something that we can tap into in all kinds of ways. So we can tap into that rushing waterfall of universal life force energy in an infinite number of ways. We can tap into it. And I think of that tapping into it almost like taking a funnel to the waterfall. You've got this big rushing waterfall, so much water, always moving, always flowing, and you can take a funnel to it and stick it into that universal life force energy waterfall. Now, we have an infinite number of funnels for tapping into that universal life force energy. The system of Reiki is one of those funnels, but we can also tap into that universal life force energy through all other kinds of means, things like yoga or meditation, qigong or tai chi, acupuncture or dancing or whatever. There are an infinite number of ways of tapping into that universal life force energy. So Reiki is not the only way of tapping into Reiki. So the system of Reiki is not the only way of accessing the universal life force energy of Reiki. And there are so many different ways that we can tap into that, harness it, and really get into that flow. You may already be doing some of these things in your own life. Indeed, Reiki is already flowing through you. So it is always flowing through you, and it always has been flowing through you. But we have these different practices, these different modalities as a way of intentionally tapping into that universal life force energy and then, really harnessing it and channeling it in different kinds of ways with intention. So what that means is that you may very well already be tapping into universal life force energy with intention in all different kinds of ways. And again, these are unlimited ways. And so there's an infinite number of ways to access that universal life force energy. Reiki, the system of Reiki, is just one of those ways. But what Reiki does is that it allows us to intentionally tap into that universal life force energy and use intention to, almost in a sense, I don't want to say guide it because it's not our power or our energy, but setting an intention for where we might like it to go and how we might like it to flow. So if we take that analogy of the big waterfall and we think of Reiki as a funnel, in that waterfall, we can turn that funnel in all different kinds of directions to really, in a sense, guide the Reiki where we might like it to go. Now, here's the thing. When we turn that funnel and we say, okay, Reiki, come splash on me, we can set that intention, but Reiki goes, universal life force energy goes where it is needed and wanted for the highest good of all. And so what that means is that if I set the intention, okay, Reiki, go to winning me $1 million, that Powerball that just happened, that $1 billion, by the way, I was not the winner. Even if I had one, I want you to know I would still be right here. I would not have canceled the workshop. But anyway, so Reiki, send me that $1 billion. I want to be the Powerball winner. Well, if it's not in the best and highest good, it's not going to happen. So know that when we set our intention for Reiki, that we're really saying, okay, this is what I would love, and I'm letting it up to Reiki for the best and highest good of all. And so when we tap into the waterfall with the funnel and we try to direct a waterfall with a little funnel, stuff's going to splash all over the place. It's going to go where it wants to go. So Reiki is just like water in that way. Water goes where it wants to go. And Reiki is the same way. So we can set an intention for where we might like the universal life force energy to go, but it's always going to go where it is needed and wanted for the highest good of all. One of the things that's also really great about Reiki as universal life force energy is that it is universal life force energy, which means that it cannot do harm. So Reiki as the energy, as that rushing waterfall, cannot do harm. It cannot harm us. Sometimes you'll hear questions in the Reiki community about things like, can I send Reiki to someone with a pacemaker? Can I send Reiki to a broken bone? Yes, you can. It's not going to hurt anything. So it is absolutely okay to send Reiki to anything, because Reiki itself is not going to do any harm, and it is going to go where it is needed and wanted for the highest good of all. Now, what that also means is that we can set an intention, but just like with winning Powerball, it doesn't mean that it's going to happen. And we just need to let go and accept and release that real desire. So Reiki actually helps us to do that. I know in my own practice as a Reiki practitioner, the more that I have deepened my own Reiki practice, the more Reiki has helped me to release judgment, to increase compassion, and to, really just almost in a sense, be a nicer guy. Now, I was already a nice guy before Reiki, before I was attuned. And I like to think that Reiki has helped me to be more compassionate, more open and understanding, and less judgmental, which is no small thing at all. So it's pretty powerful and incredible. As a matter of fact, this is the real power of Reiki. So often we think of Reiki as, tapping into that funnel, into that waterfall with the funnel and directing it where we want to go to others. Like, let's direct it. Oh, heal this person's broken bone. Heal this person's broken. Oh, please help this person with this problem. But the real power of Reiki lies inside of us to allow us to really work on ourselves and to grow and heal and blossom for ourselves. That's really the real power and real beauty of Reiki.